He's never fought us. Not us united.
My favorite moment in the entire... Maybe I should complicate this before I start speaking here.
Welcome to Under Two Capes. I'm your host, Jared, and I'm here with Nick from the Phoenix Press. What's up, brother?
What's up?
So, something interesting happened recently. A scene from Black Adam leaked out, and what's interesting about it is it confirms that Henry Cavill is indeed in this movie. Now, Superman is in this movie. It is in no way neck down. It is in no way, obscured. It is Henry Cavill.
Is there a CG'd out mustache?
No, there is not. So I want to do it because we did a stream about it last week, but this was confirmed. So we really want to really examine this because we're going to talk about what this means for the DCEU and the SnyderVerse in general, because this actually means a lot of interesting stuff for both the DCEU and the SnyderVerse. Chief among it, one of the chief obstacles to restoring the SnyderVerse was getting the actors back for their respective roles, particularly Ben and Henry. Well, that happened. So all the Snyder only fans freaking out that Superman is in the blue and red suit, and they use some variation of John Williams theme. I always tell them, okay, calm down for a second. The hardest part of restoring the Snyderverse is pretty much done. We got so as far as we know, we have the actors. It's much easier now because it's easier to get Zach back than it is to get the actors back. And guess what? We got the two hardest ones in here. So, Nick, your thoughts?
Well, with Zach, it's basically just a matter of just waiting out the Netflix contract.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically all we're waiting on now. Is once that Netflix deal is done, you don't think WB has him lined up for the next 50 years? You don't think he's already had talks with after your Netflix deal is done, you're going to go straight from Netflix to Warner Brothers.
He hasn't had talks about that because in his contract, he's not allowed to have that. But I'm sure the thought has crossed in his head with this new regime. Hey, I'd be more comfortable going to, particularly with the last of the old regime, Walter Hamada is leaving after Black Adam comes out.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, hey, David Zaslav. Hey, Zack Snyder. Oh, it's crazy. We met at this party.
Mm-hmm.
It's in LA Street. Well, this is a party because we're here. Wink, wink.
Yeah, I'm 100% sure that they will bring him back in some capacity. It may not even be to direct any of the movies, but at least to serve as at least to finish out the Snyderverse, and they'll use him as a producer to guide those movies.
I find it highly unlikely that I'm sure people in the circles have, intermingle. I'm sure some word hasn't been going between them where it's hey, yeah, when you're done with that, come talk to us. I'm sure there's Zach probably knows he's got another job lined up, even if there's no official talk, even if there's no official mention of it. I'm sure there's been some winking and nodding because
yeah,
it's even if there's no official talks, what if someone meets at a party and they were yeah, we might want to do something together. We can't talk now, but later.
Now, here's the other significant thing. Even though it's a post-credit scene, from what we know, that Henry Cavill shows up, here's the key point. It confirms that Henry Cavill is still Superman. That is the key, because ever since Justice League, I know I should play the why did you say this name, so you know what, screw it, might as well. I know, I have to, it's a rule.
Why did you say that name?
So anyway, since that movie, it's been headless cameos and shadows, so there was no Superman. I don't count any of the stunt doubles that they put in. No, there was no Superman. He's here now. And The Rock even said, okay, so we wanted to make Black Adam the most powerful hero on Earth. The most powerful hero in the universe has been on the sidelines for too long. Immediately when I hear that, I'm like, okay, I trust The Rock now.
Can we just take a moment to see like how much of a drastic flip the message has been since Comic-Con? Like, can we just take a moment to acknowledge, it's like the hierarchy of power and the DC, like they were really marching with that, and just like they went to Comic-Con and that whole message literally went over like a wet fart
because he got booed.
And and not only that, but like I still mentally go back to that interview where they ask him about Henry Cavill, and you can tell The Rock is unprepared for it, and like he's tripping up his words because like he doesn't know what to say. Come on, you don't tell me that like after this, The Rock literally kicked down David Zaslav's door and says, "You're getting Henry Cavill in here now," or I'm going to cook some stuff, and it's going to probably be C4.
And you notice The Rock has been talking a lot about listening to the fans. So what this indicates to me is that if the fan base doesn't, if Black Adam does well, Black Adam and the Flash have to do well in order for them to be able to financially invest in Zack Snyder's universe.
I don't know about the Flash doing well, but like,
well, yeah, because they need the money, and they need both of these movies to do well in order to have the money to at least say, okay, we'll give you at least a miniseries. But my point is, where's my screen? Hang on, my screen went away. So my point is, if these movies do well, and The Rock has shown that he listens to fans when he took out the 2 seconds of Justice League footage. I'm not taking that out because this is a very specific context. He took out 2 shots of really lame Steppenwolf, 2 seconds of really lame Steppenwolf from the Black Adam Legacy trailer with the caption corrected. So he knows that fans don't like Justice League. So it's conceivable that he could at least say, can we at least just because he has influence now, right? He has if he can bring Henry Cavill back, Warner Brothers will listen to The Rock. So what that indicates to me is that if he says, hey guys, as long as I can put Black Adam somehow in the universe, and Zack himself has said the Black Adam movie can fit in the SnyderVerse, it's totally fine. Why don't we just let Zack come back for his 2 movies, complete it, and we're done?
Here's how I think it would go down story-wise for Black Adam when it comes to the Justice League movie. They try to recruit Black Adam to fight Darkseid. He initially refuses, like, oh, this is none of my business. But then The Rock gets like a last minute, swoops in, him and Superman start punching it, does this thing and then kind of flies out. So like The Rock can be like, oh, I'm the hero, I saved the day, kind of thing.
The way I could see it is that The Rock is one of the initial superheroes killed when Darkseid takes over. Because remember, he takes over Superman, then Superman just murders everyone. So that's the way
I don't think The Rock is going to allow himself to be killed or defeated.
I think he will, because here's why. Why else would he openly admit that Superman is more powerful than Black Adam? He straight up admitted that now.
Because he knows the only reason people are going to go see this movie is for Henry Cavill.
So he knows that, okay, at this point, the only person that could defeat, that I have to allow to defeat Black Adam is Superman. So, because Black Adam is not more powerful than Superman. You can be the biggest Black Adam fan as you want. He's not more powerful as Superman. Even he has the magic ability, which, by the way, how is I get that magic is one of Superman's weaknesses.
Okay. Ranted coming.
Yeah, go ahead.
Superman is not weak to magic. He just has no immunities against it. So, if Black Adam shoots lightning at someone and torches them, it affects Superman the same way it affects a normal person. Maybe because he's like built stronger, he has he can stand it a little bit better, but he has no immunities against it. Like bullets bounce off of him, but the electricity doesn't.
Exactly. It's not like kryptonite.
So here's the thing about Black Adam. Is a threat to Superman. He is a legitimate, like, if Superman and Black Adam fought, it's like a 6-5 scenario. Like Superman wins 6 times, Black Adam
wins way more than that. I'd say 8-10. I mean 8-2, I think.
But the fact that like Black Adam has a legitimate, like, could legitimately defeat Superman under certain circumstances, that is his threat. It's not that he's stronger. It's like this is Superman. This is like Black Adam. Like he's stronger, but not by much. You know?
Yeah, and
Like it's not that big of a threshold. Like, you know, it's Superman stronger, but like Black Adam is not that much weaker.
yeah, but my point is that that's how they could do it, because what they could at least do is that, here's the thing, with the Snyderverse, Superman being taken over by Darkseid, Superman's whole inhibition to killing that he got after he killed Zod goes away because he's a sociopath under the control of Darkseid, so he's not holding back anymore. He basically turns into Injustice Superman, and when Injustice Superman fought Black Adam, he destroyed him.
And that's the thing. Like, sure, Shazam is like probably on the same power level as Black Adam, but here's the thing: Black Adam has sentries, and also he has the killer instinct. Shazam is just a kid. You know, push comes to shove, I don't think Billy Batson has it in him to kill. You know,
no, Black Adam does. Oh yeah, Black Adam definitely does. But my point is that there's room for Black Adam in the Snyderverse, so it's very easy for them to decide. Okay, so I'll tell you what. The Snyderverse, we'll do Justice League 2, and we'll say the Snyderverse also exists in the Black Adam universe, because actually when you see the movie, it actually looks like it fits in Zack Snyder's universe, even with the color palette. So it's not like it'd be that big of a stretch.
I just want to, like, to this point, I want a Dr. Fate movie so bad.
Oh yes, I want Dr. Fate and I want Hawkman. Those are the two movies I want. Really bad.
I mean, just give us a Justice Society movie, like.
Yeah. It looks like that's what Black Adam is going to be, kind of. Also, when you think about it.
I mean, in the DC universe, there are multiple teams that are on the Justice League level. There's the JSA, you know, obviously the Justice League, but like, you know, also, you know, there's Justice League Dark, and there's also other multiple teams like Teen Titans, the Outsiders. Like, there are other teams. You know, so it makes full amount of sense for the Justice League to exist, but also you have the Justice Society, which has probably been around longer, but they've kind of been more in the shadows or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and here's another thought I had, Nick. So here's why I think it's very likely that The Rock will push for the Snyderverse if his movie's successful. So let's assume Black Adam makes a lot of money, which it looks like it's going to be, because from what I've heard, it's fantastic. So let's assume it does really well. Okay. So with Black Adam, I mean, with technically, yes, with The Rock changing the Black Adam trailer because Justice League was trending on Twitter, with the amount of times that Zack Snyder and Zack Snyder's Justice League trends on Twitter, I think he's going to pay attention to what the fan base wants.
Yeah, and it's very clear they're heading in, if not a restore the Snyderverse, at least a Snyder-friendly direction.
Yeah, exactly, and that's fine. I was actually having this conversation with you and Snyder Queen, as a matter of fact, over the course of this week. I'm fine with this hybrid universe because it respects both fan bases, because there are things that the new movies do better than Snyder does, and there are things that Snyder does that are better. So it looks like
I'm going to go out and say it. I prefer the canon of Aquaman to the Snyder cut. Like I really like Aquaman. I think it's a great movie, and a Snyder cut directly conflicts it. I'm glad Snyder Cut exists. Don't get me wrong, but Aquaman, I feel, was a really good movie, a really fun movie. It knew exactly what it wanted to be, and it's a good movie. And Snyder Cut, even before
you can
Snyder
explain
Cut,
a lot of those contradictions, though, if you really think about it. Because here's the thing, Nereus in the comics is not Mara's father. He's her husband. Which seems kind of odd, right?
kind of I know Oedipa is like wanting your mother. I don't know what the father.
I know what you're going for, but that's my point there. So
it's kind of like a reverse Oedipa complex.
The way I explain it, kind of. I mean, the British accent, I'm not gonna be able to explain, but that's just film inconsistencies. Those happen all the time. But it's like with the Mara's parents, and then her having a father in Aquaman. We never see Mara's mother, so we can assume that she's dead. And the father, he's just her adopted father. Simple.
Do you want to know why the parents died?
Why?
Because Mara pooped in the bed too many times and attracted predators.
I like that. That's good. But you see what I'm saying?
Sorry, I had to bring that in.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
but you see what I'm saying? My point is that you could still, if you really try hard, put that in the Snyderverse and it'll still like be fine. Granted, there are still the accent part is really the only thing that really like is an issue. But the other things you can kind of explain.
The whole bubble thing. I mean, they retconned that even before the Snyder Cut came on because like the whole bubble to talk. You know, they literally just like you don't see them do it at all in Aquaman, and they just
the way I explained it, the way I kind of explained that is that they use that for privacy. Because would you really want the other Atlantean guards to hear that she's talking to the lost king of Atlantis?
My counter to that is they never do it once in Aquaman, and you'd think they would want it. Like you don't think like especially when they're meeting on like that old ship, they would put the bubble there.
True. Okay. Yeah. I see what you're saying, but do you see?
It's a minor nitpick. Okay, so it's at the end of the day, it's a minor nitpick, which I'm glad they changed it. But this is like a minor detail that like it's...
Yeah, but my point is that you can like address some of those points and try and make Aquaman fit. It's a rough fit, but it can still fit in there if you really like think about it. Because there are plenty of things in the MCU and these movies that contradict each other, but they somehow fit pretty well. You know what I'm saying?
By ignoring... Oh, we're just going to ignore this thing that happened and just kind of keep going forward.
Yeah, exactly. But my point is that... Yeah, my point is that yeah, I'm fine with them like doing a hybrid universe because it respects both fan bases, and that's part of why the Snyder Cut fan base got so PO'd after the Snyder Cut came out, because it seemed like Warner Brothers was just completely poo-pooing on everything Snyder made by like replacing Superman and Batman with Supergirl and Batgirl and just completely eliminating everything Snyder ever did, thus saying to the fans of what Snyder did, even non-like Snyder fans, you don't matter anymore. This new regime is saying, no, you do. We're just also gonna respect both fan bases.
I gotta say, this is kind of a conspiracy kind of thing, but like I really feel like before the regime change, I feel like the Justice Society was meant to replace the Justice League. I think they were really kind of like I that's what I feel like is like, oh, we're gonna introduce the Justice Society and they're gonna replace the Justice League. I really feel like that was kind of their intention.
Well, that was a bad idea.
If you look at the Justice Society, it fits those check boxes perfectly.
Yeah. Which here's the thing, it sounds like something the old regime would do, because here's the thing: they're replacing the Justice League, the most well-known superheroes, with did they say are still moderately well-known, particularly after Stargirl.
B&C listeners, B-listers
at best, I think. But here's the thing: they're not as well-known as the JLA. They're not as well known.
See, here's the thing. The Justice Society, literally the best known characters you have are Dr. Fate and Hawkman. And I mean, and I'd say even like Hawkgirl is probably more well known nowadays than Hawkman.
Because of the show.
And it's like, okay, you got Pierce Brosnan to play Dr. Fate. That's good. That's cool. He's a perfect, like, I'm sorry, just I'm still giddy at the thought of Pierce Brosnan
he is
playing Dr.
perfect
Fate.
casting as Dr. Fate. Like, there was no one that I could... You know how, like, whenever an actress casts a role, you're like, that's good, but I could also see this person. I can literally not see anyone else playing Dr. Fate.
There's only one other actor who I could see doing it.
Who?
Timothy Dalton.
Oh, okay.
It's another Bond actor.
But my point is, it's like...
If they did this movie in, like, the 90s or the 2000s, I would be wanting Roger Moore to play Dr. Fate. Like, I'm sorry, but old Bond actors are perfect for Dr. Fate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, quick tangent. If you were to have Daniel Craig in the DC universe, who would you put him as?
Oh, that's a good question, honestly. I could see him playing... Okay, so let's see. Daniel Craig. That's a really good question. I could see him probably playing... let's see. Would I have him be a superhero, or would I have him be like a regular soldier or like a vigilante? Probably...
Maybe like Wildcat?
Maybe. But if I had to have him be a well-known superhero... Probably, I'm looking at my shelf right now. Probably Wildcat. I can't think of any other like character that I think he would really do well as.
Well, I'm just thinking like he's a good action star.
Ra's al Ghul.
I think Timothy Dalton would be a good race.
Oh, I got it. DCEU Hush.
Okay, that's perfect.
Yeah. See,
sorry. The reason I paused is because you kind of stunned me. Like, oh my, like it's like I was kind of taken aback. Like, oh my god, that's perfect.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second. It just came to me, and I was like, oh, he would do a fantastic Hush.
Yeah, the problem with Ra's al Ghul is like he has like this presence, which I don't think Pierce Brosnan has the kind of presence for Ra's al Ghul.
And people will be pissed off if we whitewash the Middle Eastern character.
Yeah. And the other thing about Wildcat is one of those characters. It's perfect if you want to bring in like a wrestler or a boxer. Like imagine like CM Punk as I was going to say CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
CM Punk would make a great Wildcat, admit it.
Or the female Wildcat, Alexa Bliss.
You just quoted the one wrestler I'm actually a fan of.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's just
I can edit that out. Don't worry.
No.
I can edit that out.
Alexa Bliss. No. Alexa Bliss is going to play Punchline.
Oh yeah, that actually works way better. That's nice.
Because her character in the WWE is Harley Quinn inspired, so
Pretty
have
much.
her play punch. Like I just want to see Alexa Bliss play Punchline and then go up against Margot Robbie. Like seriously?
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Oh yeah, that should have been the Harley Quinn movie. Really, she should have gone up against like the Joker's replacement because it said she left the Joker.
Just imagine like Alexa Bliss's Punchline. That would be so crazy.
Yeah. So
I'm sorry, Alexa Bliss is perfect for Punchline.
Mm-hmm. So. In terms of in terms of Superman, going back to that. Now, again, this makes it significantly more likely that Zack is able to come back and makes it easier for him to rebuild his universe, to continue his universe because the actors are there. They could just include it as one of the movies in one of these people in all their contracts. Okay, you have to do these two Justice League movies, and you really and from what I've heard. They would come back for Zack. They would 100% extend a contract for Zack Snyder.
And honestly, Cyborg would come back as well because Cyborg would never like Ray Fisher. His problem was never with Zack Snyder. He loved the guy.
Yeah, and Walter Hamada's leaving, so the old regime is gone.
It's like you think like with the Snyder Cut being as Cyborg focused as it is, you don't think Ray Fisher doesn't like Zack Snyder? Like seriously.
Oh, he loves
the Snyder Cut. Is almost a Cyborg movie. Like it's like I you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it pretty much what it turns. And remember, he showed up at a Comic-Con promoting what was at the time Justice League, wearing an "I Love Zack Snyder" T-shirt.
Because like just imagine you're Ray Fisher. You shoot the Justice League, and you have a really good story. You're an integral part of it, and then Joss Whedon comes in and literally cuts out all your scenes.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. Now, by the way, here's the key point of Superman showing up. He doesn't even have the CGI lip again. It is Superman. And the suit thing, you could just explain that as, okay, if you really want to say the Snyder Cut is canon, let's say, he changes suits because the black suit's always temporary.
Also, in the Snyder Cut, he does go to the ship, and you do see the blue suit. It literally exists in the universe. It's on that ship.
It's there, so it's not like he can't just go back and get it.
Exactly. Also, I really hope they move that ship to Antarctica, and that becomes his Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah, they had that in Man of Steel, but then they moved it. I was like, oh, I see what you're doing. Oh, no. But yeah, I think they could do that because I think that's what they're going to do if they do a modern Fortress of Solitude, because I think the Crystalline Palace is a little... It's good for the Reeves verse, but for the SnyderVerse, which is very grounded, it's kind of hard to like say, okay, we have this grounded, realistic universe, and then Superman lives in the Crystal Palace.
But so you're saying he's not going to like take off his cape and it's suddenly going to turn into like a big thing of cellophane and trap Zod?
He's not going to let it go?
I'm sorry, but like that moment in Superman 2 is like the most like what the F like moment.
It perfectly explains why a lot of the it perfectly explains why why those movies don't hold up as well. They're good movies, but they don't hold up as well when you're approaching from a modern context.
I'd say the first movie is still like a perfect time capsule. Like that movie, I think like the first one on its own works pretty well. The second one,
I still debate that, but I see what you're saying there. Now, let's talk about the theme. Now, the theme for this scene, I've heard it because the soundtrack for Black Adam is out. Guess what? It doesn't really sound like it has some elements of the theme. So the rumor is that when Superman shows up, it has the dark Black Adam-y version of the dun dun da da da, and then it goes into the Man of Steel soundtrack. So right there, they're telling you they're respecting both universes.
how long is the theme?
I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to play it.
No. I'm thinking about playing it on my end and just listening to it on my own. No,
I'll
you
DM
can't
it to
hear
you
it.
on Twitter. I'll DM it to you on Twitter. But the point is that it's not. It's okay. Well, let me see. Is this it? Okay, here we go.
Because if it's like a few minutes long, I can listen to it and I knew like
it's
a
really
reaction.
short. 15
All right.
seconds. So I'll DM it to you on Twitter. Hang on.
All right, so I'll do a live reaction to it. You guys won't be able to hear it, but like I'll do a live reaction.
All right, it should be sent. So while Nick does that, so it's pretty. So the rumor was before all this that it was going to be a like the legit Williams theme.
All right, so I'm gonna pull it up. So like, let's see. Here we go.
Okay. So while Nick does that, the rumor is that it was going to be the legit Williams theme, and then the rest of the credits was going to be that. What this is that it's a darker version from Black Adam, and then the rest of the credits are the Man of Steel sound or tracks from the Man of Steel soundtrack, from what I've heard. So what this looks like is, again, they're respecting both universes. But here's the thing, and Nick can tell me what he thinks about this when he's done listening.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time hearing it. Could you kind of
Okay.
like just? I'm sorry, I didn't want to be rude.
Yeah. We're going to pause it while Nick listens to the music. While Nick listens to the music. While we do this, well, Nick is...
Honestly, I can't hear the John Williams or I'm not really too familiar with the Snyder theme, but like I can't really hear the John Williams in it.
Yeah, it's very like, if it's like a dark version of John Williams' theme, it's like it's not really
like I don't even hear it at all. Like and don't get me wrong, like the Superman theme is iconic. Like I love
distinct.
that theme.
You would know if you heard it.
Like I'm not hearing any even hint at it. Like there's no like the beat, like anything. Like it's not even like they do the doot doot. Like it's like you would think it's like they got like the doot 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 kind of thing on the background. Mm-hmm. It's just a generic doot 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 kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's like doot 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 doot. It's like there is no like even hint at it. It's like it's just generic doot 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 doot. It's just a very generic.
Yeah, so it's not. If you want to say it, it's not even the Williams theme. So it's really just their own thing. And then, so if anything, it looks like The Rock is respecting the SnyderVerse. If it's true that the rest of the credits after that scene is some songs from Man of Steel.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I'm not like too familiar. Like if they could have played like a dark version of Man of Steel theme, I might not even be able to notice. So. That part I'll just chalk up to not knowing that theme too well. But like, as a person who is very familiar with the John Williams theme, I can't hear it.
Yeah, and we'll know when the movie comes out in a couple of weeks what happens after it. But I've heard they pretty much go into the Man of Steel music. So from what I know, and I know exactly what tracks they use. I mean, they have said what tracks they use at the end of the. I mean, people have seen the movie, have like leaked what tracks play after that scene, and they are the distinct Man of Steel Superman themes. So as far as I know,
because I can see the dude like just kind of like they do the scene, and all of a sudden you start to hear the John Williams, because like the John Williams scenes has a very, very distinct intro, and as soon as you start, like, you can do one note and the audience is gonna go crazy, and it has like this kind of crescendo to where and that would be the perfect moment for Superman to just kind of fly down and hit the ground. Like musically, it is a great way to introduce character, and then from there use the Man of Steel thing, because like the Superman March is just perfect for like
Exactly.
You know.
It's kind of like, here's an example. In Justice League, when Superman shows up, they play that theme, and you hear that dun 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 dun. You hear that. What they should have done, and I agree with you, Nick, is if they were going to use that theme, they could have just darkened it a little bit so it fit a little more in that universe.
Oh, so here's how I would play it. It's like you start to kind of hear the theme. Black Adam's like, what? Is this a bird? Is it a plane?
I don't think they'd go that on the nose, but I know.
But I could see, like, if you want to do a transition from classic to modern, because like I feel like you can do those lines in a certain way and have it work. You know, just like,
yeah, you can.
What? It's a bird, a plane. You know, like you start to hear like whoosh. You know, like something's flying around.
Like the sonic boom.
Yeah, like a bird, plane, and it's like you start to hear it, and then like Superman comes on, and he's like, "We need to talk."
Yeah, and then compare that to in the Snyder Cut, when Superman shows up, they start playing straight up. It's the Man of Steel Superman music. Like, they even use First Flight music when he completely destroys Steppenwolf. So my point is that what I think they're doing right now is that, well, because here's the thing. Superman is never going to be able to escape the John Williams theme in some form, because guess what? That has become the quintessential Superman theme somehow.
You're saying that like it's a...
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying...
You are, kind of. Like, I'm not trying to hate on you.
Let me rephrase this. No matter what, that theme will be associated with any version of Superman.
I mean, it's the same reason why Star Wars will never escape the Star Wars title crawl theme.
Which is fine.
It's like there's certain pieces of music that are tied to properties. Like, think of Star Wars. You think of the title crawl theme.
But yeah, but the problem with what the old regime was doing is that they were just copy pasting it instead of adapting it. Because you can adapt it and have the same music in there. If they had adapted that, people would not have been that pissed off and associated forever with Justice League, the modern audience do. Where
I will say the biggest, like, as much as I love, so like I've obviously seen Justice League. I saw it in theaters. And while I do enjoy hearing the Superman theme and like literally the Batman theme, it's too verbatim. And as much as it tickles that nostalgia, it actually does kind of feel a bit out of place. You know, like if Danny Elfman had kind of redone it and made it a little bit more like Snyder Cutty, it probably would have been fine. Like,
because remember, they weren't going for Snyder.
Like, imagine if Junkie XL and Danny Elfman had collaborated on the entire
film. Yeah.
Like, imagine
dope.
Imagine the new theme by Danny Elfman and Junkie XL where they collaborated on a new version. Like that like I think you would love that.
I would love that, because I don't hate either of these themes whatsoever. I want to be very clear on that. Both of them are great for their Superman, but you can't.
But the thing is, they're still of their time. That's the thing.
They're still of their time. And let me put it this way. You can't copy paste them exactly. You have to adapt them, because Henry Cavill is a different Superman than Christopher Reeves. If you want to use that theme, that's totally fine. And by the way, Zach wanted to use the John Williams theme for his Superman, but they wouldn't let him. Just wanted to tell you that right there.
But like, I really feel like like you said, the Superman theme was iconic, and but the thing is, this is the SnyderVerse, and First Flight is the SnyderVerse Superman theme, and that should take priority. I'm not saying, like, trust me, I'd love to see the Superman theme, but the First Flight is the Henry Cavill Superman theme.
And actually, here's the thing: no, forget which version of Justice League is canon. Batman versus Superman and Man of Steel are canon to this universe, so that theme was already Henry Cavill's theme.
Like, I'm not saying don't use the Superman theme. In fact, I would love it if you blended the two. Like, that would make me so happy. But and this is from a person who is a fan of the Superman March and is a fan of the Reverse. Like, First Flight is Henry Cavill's theme, and that should take priority.
What you should do is try and adapt the Superman March to the First Flight.
Oh, imagine if they did like a medley of like all the iconic Superman themes.
Oh yeah,
And like
great.
imagine like first the Superman theme, and then like you started to kind of hear like an instrumental version of "Somebody Save Me," you know, like
Oh
just
yeah,
like
that'd be great.
just like you know,
The Superman and Lois theme.
You know, okay. You know what they need to do for Justice League for the next movie?
What?
They need to do a Snyder cut version of the Justice League Unlimited theme.
What I said, what they should do, bring in Hawkgirl in Justice League 3, have the team stand in front of Darkseid because because it's because then you have, except for the Flash being Barry Allen, legit the lineup from the cartoon show.
And then you hear the guitar riff come in.
And then you hear Junkie XL's version of the dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
And then watch.
Can you imagine how people go crazy?
Can you imagine? Yeah, exactly. Can you imagine the audience reaction to you have that Justice League and the theme come up?
Because like we're getting to a point where the people who grew up with this stuff, you know, Justice League, Batman Beyond, they're our age. They're in their 30s. They're in the because like, you know, like we need to kind of start moving away from like 80s and to some extent 90s references. We need to start mining the 2000s nostalgia. Like where's my Teen Titans revival?
That would be cool. I'm telling you, Teen Titans directed by Zack Snyder.
Imagine if HBO Max announced Teen Titans season 6.
Oh, dude.
Because the voice actors never stop working on the character, so it's like you just have them record a season.
Yeah,
like
they literally still play the characters in the Teen Titans Go show.
Yeah, just imagine. Okay, but like here's the thing. What if they did it like they actually met the Justice League and it was voiced by like the actual Justice League people, like, you know, like it was like Gal Gadot, Ben Affleck.
I've long said what Marvel should do to troll DC, if they really want to troll Warner Brothers, just announce a Squadron Supreme movie directed by Zack Snyder, and the Squadron Supreme are played by all the DCEU actors.
I don't think they do that. Marvel does too much of a cookie cutter approach. I know. They would allow Zack Snyder within 500 feet of Marvel.
I know, and they suck for that, but that's besides the point, because there's plenty of projects that I think Zack Snyder's Punisher. I would love that. But anyway, back to Superman.
I want to see Zack Snyder do Moon Knight. Like, imagine Zack Snyder doing a Moon Knight movie, and like with Oscar Isaacs. Like, see, the problem with Moon Knight is not Oscar Isaacs. He's perfect for the character. It's just the show around him is just like it's boring.
Mm-hmm. Now,
but Oscar Isaacs is perfect. He's great. He's a great actor for the role. He's perfect for Moon Knight.
Now. Let me be clear. I want to bring up one thing. As a Snyder fan, I am happy that they're combining both, that they're trying to respect both fan bases and not piss off one side of the fan base. In other words, I like the hybrid universe because that looks like what they're doing even post-Flash. They're respecting what came before. It's what they're doing now.
It's what they're doing now.
It's what they're doing now. I like what they're doing now because what they're doing now is saying, even if you like the SnyderVerse or if you like not the SnyderVerse, you're still a DC fan. And I put out a video talking about like what you like. It doesn't matter. So I love what they're doing.
I feel like if they don't want to piss off any group of people, this is really the only way to do it. Because if they go one way or the other, they're going to piss someone off. But if they combine the universes and they respect both sides of it, you know, to the point where, like, you know, bring in Supergirl, bring in Batgirl.
I'm totally fine with that.
By the way, I'm saying, bring in that version of Batgirl, have it be part of a Batman movie. You know, have her origin story. Like, seriously.
And by the way, what they could literally do, what I think they're going to do in terms of which Justice League is canon, I think they're going to, after Flash, let's say Flash reboots the universe, where the universe picks up is going to be post-Justice League. And then they're just going to keep it general on which one it is. They're not going to reference either one specifically. They're not going to show which Steppenwolf. They're not going to show which Superman suit. They're just going to say, okay, we fought Steppenwolf. We beat him. Granted, if they have Darkseid invade, it's pretty obvious which one they're leaning toward.
Oh, I can definitely see, you know, there's a movie where, like, they enter Argus and, well, Steppenwolf's, okay. I was going to say they show Steppenwolf. Yeah, and Steppenwolf's head is on Darkseid. So I was gonna say let's show Steppenwolf's head in like a museum, but like his head is on Darkseid.
Here's the thing. And in Justice League, Steppenwolf escaped through a boom tube.
Yeah, but in Snyder Cut, his head got chopped off and it went to Apocalypse. So, like, if they had Steppenwolf's head and it was the...
Well,
but
they could show
that's
them,
an Apocalypse, so that they can't do that.
what they could show is like they go to Argus and they're studying Steppenwolf's body.
Yeah, but like it was really the head that was kind of the identifier because like you have to refer to the head because like
Not necessarily, because remember, Steppenwolf had distinct armor.
yeah,
The body with Steppenwolf was way different than the body in Justice League.
not only that, but like just Snyder Cut Steppenwolf was a lot stockier, while the other one was a bit kind of skinnier.
Yeah,
you know?
in other words, lame looking. But lame PS2 style. So I mean,
Can we just say like it's really stupid? And Justice League was like mother.
Legit, I have a buddy of mine that has watched all these movies with me, and he legit turned to me because he knows I'm a nerd about all this. He goes, "Jared, did they ever explain what the hell he was talking about with Mother?" And I go, "Nope, they never explained why he was calling Mother." Which, for those of you that don't know, it's explained that in the Mother boxes in DC Comics, that I believe Steppenwolf's mother her soul is actually divided among the 3 Mother boxes. So that's why, but they never explain it. That's the thing. So he just looks like some idiot that has a mother complex. Speaking of Oedipus complex, but my point is, it looks like what they're going to do going forward is just say, whatever Justice League movie you want to be canon, that's canon. Even in the Flash prequel comic, they have one part where he talks about pushing people, and then the next issue, Batman says, "You ran back in time and saved the world." That only happened in one version.
Yeah, I think that's probably what they're going to do is they're going to make references from both versions. So that like it's like both versions are canon, but both versions are not. You know, like.
Well, here's the thing. He did push people in. Here's the thing. He did push people in the Snyder Cut too. He pushed the Parademons. So still,
but in the Justice League, they literally had a scene where it's like, I just push people
and run away. Yeah, as opposed to that's the only time they ever reference it. So even you could take it as canon to the Snyder Cut. I just think what they're going to do is when they make references to Justice League, they're going to keep it general enough so you could say either version is canon.
I think that's fair.
Which that's fine because it respects both. Because there are people that love Justice League and they're wrong, and there are plenty of people that like Snyder Cut and they're right. But it's just, you know what?
You just piss off a whole bunch of people.
My viewership loves the Snyder Cut, so I really don't care at that point. But my point is that they're going to make it so you could just like whatever you like. That's fine. They're going to, like, case in point. Okay, I'm going to show you this. DC recently came out with new merch items, one of which is a suit, a Halloween costume that's legit a replica of the BVS Batman suit. So they're straight up marketing Zack Snyder movies again.
Tell me.
Do you bleed? Wait. I have to play that clip since you brought it up. I just absolutely have to. Hang on.
Do you bleed?
There you go. But my point is, they're making merch from BVS again, dude. You notice when the new regime got thrown out, that's when we started seeing, like, they put the pictures for the Snyder Cut as little emblems in HBO Max. People say, well, that happens all the time. Not a year after the movie comes out. A year after the movie comes out. They had Suicide Squad ones immediately after the movie came out.
Because remember the articles that came out when the Snyder Cut thing, where Warner Bros. Was like, oh yeah, they got their thing, and oh, this is a completion of Zack Snyder. Like they retroactively declared Man of Steel, BVS, and Justice League to be Zack's trilogy. Like, oh, this is great. They're getting their thing, but we're so excited to move on. Like they tried to temper things, and it just didn't work.
It just didn't work. But my point is, now we're with the new regime. At least they're starting to acknowledge that Zack Snyder's movies happened. So I'm like, you know what? At the very least, that's a nice compromise. I'll take it. I'll take it because there are plenty of people that don't like Zack Snyder's movies. That's totally fine. There are no less DC fans, and there are plenty of things that I like a lot about the non-Snyder movies.
Because here's the thing about Warner Brothers, like the DC Comics on film. It's very clear to Warner Brothers what the audience want. Harley Quinn was super woke and it failed. Wonder Woman, not necessarily super woke,
Wonder Woman
was
1.
101.2. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, okay.
84. Well, 101.1 was not woke. It wasn't.
101.2 was
101.2
woke.
semi woke, I'd say. It wasn't like but it had a lot of elements of it. It still failed.
Yeah.
But then you had stuff like the Joker,
Mhm.
which it was like insanely profitable.
And the
Batman, which while didn't do gangbusters, was
Profitable enough.
Profitable enough. But the problem with Batman was it still had a few elements they couldn't help themselves. That one line, which I want to do a fan edit where I literally just cut out that
Just
shot.
take that one line. Yeah, I know. I know exactly the line you're talking about. Which that was that one line too. That was like, oh, really?
The problem with that line is it just comes out of nowhere and it takes you out of the movie because the worst thing you can do is bring the world into your movie. And that is like so current politics. It's like imagine like 10 years from now, people we reference that's gonna date the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like look at Batman 1989. That movie isn't that like outside of like the 80ness of it. It's not that dated at all. You can still watch it, but like that movie, it's like you get to that line. It's like, oh, this thing came out in 2021 or something. You know, like
yeah, but. Yeah, so my point is that yeah. So it looks like Warner Brothers is seeing what happened because here's the thing. Also, you notice in the other movie trailers that have to be approved by Warner Brothers, they started using clips from the Snyder Cut, not Justice League, the Snyder Cut. You notice they started to forget that Justice League ever happened. So now I have that one dude that always comments on my videos saying Justice League is canon now. All the reports I'm seeing say Justice League is canon, and that somehow the nightmare sequence is going to show up, but leading from Justice League. And I'm like, well, that's not going to happen because anything under the old regime, anything Zack Snyder is not going to happen. The new regime has forgotten that Justice League ever happened. When was the last time you saw Justice League in marketing and stayed in marketing? Because Black Adam happened, and then it was quickly eliminated.
I mean, and that can be just easily hand waved that the trailer company that made it, they just were pulling footage wherever they can, you know?
Yeah, and here's the thing. Again, that has to be approved by Warner Brothers. You know, Warner Brothers saw this and was like, okay, that's fine. Keep it.
Yeah, and then when the fan backlash came, they quickly kind of, changed it.
Yeah, so my point is that looks like Warner Brothers is more respectful of the fans. And you know what? I had people say, I forgot to put this in there. I had people say, oh no, the Rock just paid attention to whining fans. Oh, so you mean he was actually paying attention to the fan base? Because I'm pretty sure Snyder fans aren't the only ones who loathe Justice League. I'm gonna correct you right there on that.
I mean, the fact that like all the actors have come out and say how much they hated working with Joss Whedon, that you got to imagine that has an effect.
Actors who love work, who are normally nice, very nice people, like Gal Gadot. So I'm like,
I mean,
Jeremy Irons too. I'm like, what I'm saying is actors who don't have a reputation for complaining about directors.
Can I just take a moment and say, I gotta say, Jeremy Irons is probably one of my favorite depiction of Alfred.
Yeah, I do. I love where he goes. Okay, so I love where he goes. It's like when a cyborg summons Diana. Alfred goes, it's like, you have a date, Miss Prince. About time someone does.
Oh, my favorite scene is when he's like doing like Diana with the tea and he's fussing with it.
He's fussing with how to make tea.
You can just tell Diana is just humoring him like, okay, sir. I realize this is your thing, and I'm not gonna okay.
Oh, remember?
She's just such a sweetheart about it. She is just such a sweetheart about it.
Oh, remember? Maybe someone who broods in a cave isn't cut out to be a recruiter. I just love that. Jeremy Irons had the best Alfred lines, I think, ever.
I'm sorry, but sassy Alfred is my favorite Alfred because Batman the Animated Series also had a sassy Alfred. It was great, and I'm glad they kind of brought that back.
Well, that's what I love about Zack's movies. He takes not just from modern comics, because he was taking heavily from the new 52 Justice League and Superman, but he also took from classic. So I'm like, he's respecting all the eras. I don't know why people were so pissed off.
That Alfred is straight out of Batman the Animated Series.
Oh yeah, it absolutely. You cannot deny that he was someone. Even in Dark Knight Returns, or like any of the modern Batman comics, that is Alfred.
Though I will say, with this Alfred, they definitely brought a lot of the modern guy in a chair trope into Alfred. Like they definitely brought like, because Alfred was more of just like butler, moral support. He wasn't really the tech guy in a lot of the I'm not saying I hate this. I like it actually.
I mean, he wasn't.
We got to acknowledge, but we do have to acknowledge that they did bring a lot of the modern guy in a chair trope with Alfred. And I'm not saying it's bad. I like it, but I just wanted to point it out.
Yeah, that's true. All right. So on that note, I think it's a good place to leave on this. So what do you guys think? Do you think it's a good sign for the SnyderVerse? Or do you think the DCEU's future is in good hands? I certainly think so. I think this is a good. If they got Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck to come back, I think this is a good sign. And I'm going to tell you this right now, addressing the Snyder only fans: do not boycott these movies, because if you do that and these movies bomb somehow, guess what? They're going to reboot the movies, recast everyone, cut the losses, and the SnyderVerse will never come back. And
you know how thirsty David Zaslav acts is.
Yes,
is mighty thirsty.
Yes, do not let the SnyderVerse be the next target.
You don't think that he just killed Cartoon Network? You don't think if wait. Cartoon Network isn't sacred?
Forget that. He killed Batgirl when it was almost done. Nothing is safe.
I mean, there's different reports. Some say it was almost done. Some say it was far from finished. You know, it's a variation from like 40 to 80%. That's like the different things I hear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my point is, he will kill anything.
So like oftentimes you CEO comes in and is like, there's no sacred cows. David Zaslav means it.
Yeah, they mean it. So on that note, do not boycott this movie or you will screw us. So on that note, Nick, it was a pleasure. You will be able to catch us this weekend when we talk about Army of the Dead on Saturday. At the time of this recording will be Saturday. We're going to talk about. We're going to finally talk about Army of the Dead. The reason why we didn't talk about it last week is because Nick didn't watch the movie, and Taladia came on because we were talking about more rumors about Henry Cavill. So actually, we had a good stream. To be fair,
I was busy with my Indiegogo.
And you want to announce what happened this week?
I got funded.
Yeah, dude.
So I'm still. So now that Screecher's funded, I can afford to take one step back. I mean, I'm still promoting it, but I don't need to go as hard now. I'm going for stretch goals, but I don't need to go as deep as I need to be. So now I can kind of afford to oh, hey, the sky's blue. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, you can start to have a little more fun.
Yeah.
So on that note, guys, stay heroic, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.